Unit 7. The Law of Supply and Demand. It's time to discuss the most important law in all of economics. It goes without saying that I'm referring to the law of supply and demand. Who wants to tell me what it is?
It's, about how companies try to balance the supply of a product based, upon the demand for it, right?
Not bad, but please let me elaborate on Mr. Johnson's answer. The law of supply and demand is the most integral law in all economics, for with it, companies are able to determine not only the prices, but also the amounts of the items they produce. Simply put, according to the law of supply and demand, an object with a high supply and low demand will be cheap. On the other hand, an object with a low supply and high demand will be expensive. That's pretty much all there is to it. I'm sure everyone's seen the graph, but just in case you haven't, take a look at page 24 in your books. The horizontal axis represents quantity, and the vertical axis represents price. Notice in the graph itself how, as demand goes down, the supply goes up and vice versa. We'll get back to the importance of their intersecting in a second. Now, the prices of various goods are constantly changing. Here's an example that should be easy to understand: computer chips. Contrary to common belief, the price of computer chips is always changing. Sometimes it rises, whereas other times it drops. Why does it fluctuate like that? Well, it has everything to do with supply and demand. You see, the quantity of chips provided by the suppliers and the quantity of chips that its buyers demand determine the price. Understand? Okay, let me give you an example. Let's say there is a monthly supply of 1 million computer chips. However, the buyers only need 900,000 chips. There are too many chips, which is called a surplus. What's going to happen? The price will go down. However, on the other hand, if the buyers require 1.1 million chips a month, then there's a shortage of chips. So, what do you think will happen?
The price will go up?
Precisely. The essential point is that that's exactly what happens when computer companies demand more chips to install in their machines. There are too many buyers and not enough sellers. So, what does the market attempt to do? It strives to reach equilibrium. Ideally, the sellers and buyers want to sell and buy the same amount of a certain product. Were this to happen, the result would be equilibrium, which is where the two lines meet on the graph. Listening comprehension. Number 1. What aspect of the law of supply and demand does the professor mainly discuss? Number 2. What is the ideal state of existence for a product? Number 3. According to the professor, what are the effects on prices in the following situation? Number 4. What can we infer about equilibrium from the lecture? Number 5. The following statements describe two economic conditions. Put a check in the correct box for each sentence.